Hello. I wanted to come on here and talk about how I got started selling my art. Not to say that I have like intense milestones. I definitely am proud of my progress, but I've had a solid like 4 or 5 of my friends ask me just like how they can get started and what I did and just some questions. So I thought I'd try to put it all into one video. Because I feel like this is information a lot of people can benefit from, because yeah, the TLDR of this video is just fucking do it. Like, find the least intense, like the most low maintenance thing you can do to start out and do it. Like I started out just selling prints. I bought some envelopes, printed some prints, and started from there. So TLDR, just do it. Like, literally just start somewhere and go from there. You don't have to start big, just start small and see how you grow. I have notes in a notebook because I'm not trying to ramble forever. So how I got started is in April I started just drawing on my phone with my finger, and I found I really enjoyed digital art like a lot. And my mom saw me just constantly like drawing on my phone with my finger and like how hard it was, and I am acknowledging the privilege here because it's privilege, but she got me an iPad for my birthday as like an early birthday present. It really has like sparked something in me, like the amount of motivation I have and the amount of possibilities and like just things I can do. Like, it really opened it up for me way more than the ways I was engaging with traditional art. So I would definitely say how I got started is very reliant on the fact that I got an iPad as an early birthday gift. After getting the iPad, I was posting some of my stuff to Instagram, and people were like DMing me asking like, oh, can I get a print of this, blah blah blah. So I bought some photo paper, like some 4x6 photo paper and some 8x11 photo paper, and just did my own prints for a bit. I did test prints to like figure out color and all of that, but I just used my own inkjet printer, got some photo paper, and I just did that. And I made like an Instagram post saying like, hey, I'm selling prints, and I bought some envelopes. Like, I literally bought like 20 envelopes at first, thinking like I don't need more than this. I was cutting up cardboard boxes to use as like backing when mailing it. And then it got to the point where I was going through like I had like 60 plus DMs of stuff, and I was like, okay, there's enough of a demand. Going through DMs is very hard. Keeping track of the addresses, making sure I had everything correct, all of that was just getting to be a lot, and like 60 was a good enough amount that I was like, okay, I want a website that I can sell my art on. And I was doing a lot of research for what site to use. There's Big Cartel, there's Etsy, there's Shopify, and there's Squarespace that like I know of. And I knew I didn't want to do Etsy just because it's like a third-party thing and I wanted my own site. I didn't really look that much into Big Cartel, I just knew it was an option, but my main research is done between Shopify and Squarespace, and to be honest, the only reason I landed on Squarespace at the end was because I needed a place for my portfolio and my shop to be under the same URL, because at the time I had a portfolio site through Adobe, but I had like my own URL and I couldn't have faceadm.com attached to 2 different things. So I ended up going with Squarespace because you can put everything, like you can put a shop, a portfolio, a blog, like, so it just ended up working out. And they have half off for college students with like your college email, so I got half off, and I paid the whole year up front because if I did monthly payments I'd be too broke for it for sure. I just had the demand, I had the financial means at the time. I actually used my savings account. It was just for transparency. It was about like $108 for the whole year of Squarespace with the college discount, meaning that next year I'll be paying $216, but honestly it's paid itself off. I have broken even on all of my expenses, so that is a positive that I'm very happy about.
Invest in yourself, it's worth it.
But I wanted to mostly just talk about options that you have for starting, because there's so much you can do, and it's really not as hard as it looks. Like, it's not as hard as it looks, but it is hard work. That's important. But like, anyone can do it. So for websites, I already said there's Big Cartel, Etsy, Squarespace, and Shopify. I know Shopify, I think, is like $30 a month. I don't know if they have a yearly option. My research was, a lot of it was done through watching YouTube videos. Like, that's not even like YouTube videos on like how to sell your art, but just studio vlogs. Like, if you type studio vlog into YouTube, a lot of stuff comes up, and a lot of people are very open about what they use.
And honestly, I get so upset when people try to gatekeep their resources. Like, I had to do all this research, so you have to do it too. And my mentality is like, wouldn't you have loved to not do the research? Like, wouldn't you have loved an all comprehensive guide on how to do it? But whatever.
So through watching studio vlogs, some people I just wanted to list are Paloma the Peach, Apple Cheeks, Mel, Cup of Jasmine, Matthew Sorgie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Made by Malin, Lovesoup, Leigh, Ellexson, and Furry Little Peach. And Leigh, Ellexson, and Furry Little Peach are like full-time sustained off their art and like freelancing with their art and their art stores, so they were really great resources to look at. Other people are getting there too. Like, they're pretty successful people that I listed on in terms of selling their art, but it was very helpful to watch people who do it for like a whole living, and like what their processes were. I started out with selling prints, and some options that I found through research and watching videos and stuff are catprint.com, moo.com, and also shutterfly. Like, people use that for prints. But catprint, like, if you arrange your prints in a way that they all fit on like a 12 by 18, like a big 12 by 18 thing, as opposed to ordering like individual 4 by 6s or 8 by 11s, it's cheaper, actually a lot cheaper. So there's catprint and moo and shutterfly. And then for like zines and stuff, which I've so far only sold like the foldable zines on just like regular printer paper. I haven't made like an actual like zine yet, but there's mixam.com and the book patch, which I was just told about. But the book patch is more for like poetry books and text and stuff. I don't know, I have no experience with them. I just ordered a poetry book from a friend on Instagram and asked them what they used, and it's really quality from what I see they have made. For other things, like other sites, everyone, even if you don't run an art business or sell anything, if you just mail things, like if you have pen pals or just if you mail things, I recommend shippo.com so hard. It's free to sign up. It's literally just you pay like 5 cents per shipping label you buy through them. Things are much cheaper than doing it like other, like my friend uses it for when they sell on Depop as opposed to like Depop selling, and it's much cheaper. But it's, you can print shipping labels, and if you don't have like a fancy Rollo printer, which I don't have because those are expensive, there's like these 8 by 11 sheets that are sticker paper that are pre-cut down the middle. I got mine on Amazon. Yes, I'm gonna disclaimer here, I got a lot of my like long-term supplies on Amazon because it was just the cheapest and the easiest option. Sometimes when you're a small creator, you have to go with the cheapest and easiest option.
Cheapest.
But it's like 8 by 11 paper, so you can put it in your printer. It does use printer ink instead of like being heat printed like a Rollo or whatever it's called, but you just peel it off the sheet and it peels off in half sheets, so it's perfect for shipping labels. In terms of keeping track of financials, I know there's like a lot of like bookkeeping websites out there that, because like you do have to pay taxes. I know it sucks, but to be honest, no one's really checking for you if you make under $20,000 a year. But it's, if you're public with it, it's kind of just like for safety reasons. But I just use Google Sheets, and I don't even use Excel. I just use Google Sheets, and I keep track of all my expenses. And beforehand, when I was doing it through Instagram, that's how I keep track of all of my orders. But now that it's through Squarespace, I can download like a spreadsheet that has all the information already, so I don't have to like keep track of it myself. Another thing I want to mention is when you hook up your Squarespace to your PayPal or to a Stripe, which allows you to do card payments, both Squarespace and PayPal take a fee. So I have that factored in to my pricing. Sometimes if I want to price something at like $12 or $13, I'll just make it $15 so that I know at the end of getting like all the fees being taken out and all of that, I'm making about $13. So it's definitely something to think about, and it definitely adds up over time. But also with PayPal and Stripe, you can download spreadsheets that have all of it added up, and you can get like a total. You don't have to like keep track of every little thing on your own sheet, but it's really important to stay organized. For stickers, I use Sticker App. It's actually really cheap for like bulk buying. Like you can get 100 stickers for $26, but the thing is like,
It's like, are you gonna sell 100 stickers? Like, are you really gonna move all that stock?
I have a sticker pack in my store right now, and I had to get like 90 of each sticker, and it's like a 5-pack sticker pack, but I'm nowhere near selling even half, and I've been giving them to my friends, like as I like send little PayPal or send pen pal things out, because I have so many, and there's a lot of room for profit, but I don't have the like base and like demand to sell 90 sticker packs. But Sticker App is good. Sticker Mule is also good, but I find it's more expensive, but I guess they're more, I don't know what they offer that's better, but some people prefer them. There's Zapcreatives, which I have never ordered from, but I heard about through my research, and they do like acrylic charms that are two-sided. Sticker Mule does acrylic charms that they're one-sided. I also haven't ordered those, but Zapcreatives does two-sided acrylic charms, and they also have stickers. So yeah, there's just like a lot of sites out there, and you can do your own research, but these are just things that I found through other people. And also another thing I'm doing is there's a sticker I want to make, but I don't want to order 100 of them, and my friend has a Cricut machine. So like one thing you can do is invest in a Cricut machine, but like I'm not like a sticker business kind of thing. I just like putting my art on stickers, but my friend has a Cricut, and I'm going to commission her to make the stickers I want as opposed to going through Sticker App, which I think will be really cool. And another note I want to make about being like a sticker business is Mel on YouTube is a sticker business. Like she just, that I know of, just sells stickers, and because of that, things can get a lot easier when you're thinking of your supplies. Like for me, I sell pencil cases, and at one point I was selling buttons and t-shirts, and just like selling other things, you need more things for like shipping stuff in, or like worrying about like postage, like how I was talking about shippo and shipping labels. But if you are someone who just wants to focus on selling stickers, you only need to worry about stamps and normal size envelopes. So it kind of makes it, it depending on what you want to sell, makes it easier. Like say if you're just selling art prints, you only have to worry about a certain size envelope and a certain like the if you're mailing an 8x11 print, you need one of the, instead of like a normal forever stamp, it's the global stamps, which are $1.20, and they're like for sending international letters, but you can just use them for domestic flat envelopes. One thing is that I've noticed along the way, I'm sorry this video is chaotic, but it's just things that are popping up, is if things aren't bendable, like yeah, you obviously don't want people to bend them, and you put do not bend on the envelope, but if it's not like it doesn't have any give to it, it will cost the price of a parcel, which is like at the cheapest $3.80. So I was running into problems with that with the post office. Some people charge me the price of a flat, and some people trying to charge me the price of like a parcel or a package just because it couldn't bend. So instead of using cut up Amazon boxes, I got magazine backing boards. And that brings me to my next point of a lot of supplies you get are not necessarily a big investment, but you just don't have to worry about it for a while. So I bought 100 magazine backing boards. I got 100 big envelopes, 100 small envelopes, and 100 cellophane bags, which the only reason I bought the cellophane bags is because I made a sale that required it, which I'll talk about later. But I bought all those things way back in April, like June of 2020, and I still have yet to need to buy more. Like, I'm still using the same envelopes, I'm still using the same cellophane bags. Like, they really do last. It's also because of how many orders I've had for things like hoodies and t-shirts and things that are just too big to fit in a normal envelope. I save Amazon mailers, or just mailers from other packages, and have a little card I design that says your order was packaged with recycled materials. But yeah, I've yet to run out of a lot of my supplies, and when I do, I know when I buy them again, it's gonna last a while. And it gets hard the more things you sell, and like having to figure out like what types of packaging you need to have available for yourself. Really utilize cheap things. Like, when I say that, like, I sometimes will wrap stuff in tissue paper, but I got the pack of tissue paper from Dollar Tree. Like, you don't need to like buy fancy tissue paper or whatever. Like, $1 for a pack of like 10 sheets of tissue paper. You cut it up and it lasts you a while. Like, I bought 2 packs and I still have yet to buy more, but that was $2. So if there's a Daiso where you are, Daiso really comes in clutch for cute packaging materials that are only $1.50, so I recommend that. Another thing is, if you want to avoid buying things in bulk, some people who were already forced to buy things in bulk will resell part of their bulk on Etsy. So you can, like when I bought the cellophane bags, I found them much cheaper on Etsy than on like other sites where I'd have to buy them myself, just because someone probably had to buy like 500 of them or whatever, and then they were selling 100, and it made it super easy. But you can always look on Etsy to avoid buying things in bulk. But it really does work out in the end financially. Like, at first when I started and I bought 20 envelopes, it was almost the same price as it cost to buy 100. So it's kind of like, why buy 20 when you can buy 100? And something everyone should have if you sell anything, in my opinion, besides maybe like stickers and prints, is a postal scale. That saved my life. I would be going to the post office with like 6 packages, and they would be like weighing them out and putting postage on them right then and there, and I would hold up the line, and I'd also have to be in the post office for longer than I wanted to. I would show up at like 9 in the morning right when they opened to avoid interacting with any people. But it's just so nice having a postal scale, and then also having Shippo. You can just put in the weight, and it's just so much easier, and it's $20 on Amazon. One-time payment. It's an investment that's worth it. And I guess I just wanted to talk about the progress I've made. So I started selling my prints back in May of 2020. It's almost been a year. Including my Instagram sales and my Squarespace sales, I've had about 170 sales. They've all been to friends and friends of friends, and like everyone who's bought from me, I can figure out in what way they were connected or like found me. So it hasn't been a lot of like random people, but it's also not people that I know necessarily, so that's cool. But I think for a year, for just starting out, 170 sales is amazing, and I'm still baffled by it. Like, I'm very thankful. And while it gets slow and it can be discouraging, like, no, like, getting 1 order is enough for me. Like, that's, people want my art, and that's enough for me. I actually sold a small wholesale order to a local business here in San Diego, and it was really cool that like I walked into a store and I could like see my buttons and my stickers and my prints. And one thing that I also want to educate on for getting started selling your art, if you do sell wholesale to a local business or something, one, packaging matters. That's why I had to buy the cellophane bags, is when they bought my prints, I couldn't just give them a loose print on some magazine backing board and then put it in an envelope. Like, I had to put it in a cellophane bag. And also, I didn't understand wholesale pricing, and I was very thankful that the person who was the buyer for the store was just very kind and helpful about it. And so for wholesale pricing, you typically sell it for half of the retail price. So like if you're selling prints for $20, you would sell it wholesale for like $10 a print. And so that was cool to learn, and I want to do that more in the future. I want to have like stuff in local businesses that feature artists. And that's one thing that selling art in a pandemic, like the downside of it, is I really want to sell in person. And there have been times where I've tried to set up at like a park with just like a blanket with my art set out and like a sign that says art for sale, but it's not really working out the best, probably because it's a pandemic, maybe because I give up too early. But I'm really looking forward to being able to sell in person in physical spaces to people without feeling disgusted by them being near me. I didn't know that San Diego had like a zine convention until I started making my own zines in the middle of a pandemic, so like it was canceled, but it'd be cool when this is over to go there and like see, and like it's just so inspiring. So I'm excited for post-pandemic selling art, and if that's something, like I suggest you start now because Instagram is really a tool, but if you really do think you want to do it in person, like it's still, you can still take some tips and tricks here from like how to get stuff done. But since starting out, I started out selling prints, and then I ordered some stickers. I ordered 4 different stickers from Sticker app, and I ordered 3 different buttons. It was like justbuttons.org or .com or something. I'll search in my email and figure it out, but the buttons didn't sell too well. The stickers sold fine. I just had so many of them. That was like my expanding my products, is like putting some of the things from the prints on these other things. But since then, I've kind of shifted to wanting to make things that are useful. So like, not that other things are like stickers and prints aren't useful, but I've been wanting to replace things in my daily life with things made by artists. So I have like pencil cases or like just canvas bags you can use for your makeup, paraphernalia, like anything. I have like bandanas and notebooks, and I just wanted to have things that you could use as opposed to just like hanging it on your wall or sticking it on something and that being the end of that. I don't get these things like manufactured from other companies and stuff, but I do hand print them, which I have a video on if you wanted to like see the process of like carving a block and like printmaking. But it's I just like relief printing, which is a form of printmaking, and then I use fabric ink for printing on like tote bags and printing on bandanas, or I'll use like normal ink for printing on notebooks and stuff like that. And so it's just like a very unique one-of-one feel to everything. I just have to buy things that are blank, so that's also I use Amazon, but like sometimes I'll use like Blick or Michaels, it depends. But really my thing was like I just didn't want to have too many overhead costs, and I needed things to be as cheap from the get-go as possible for where I'm at now, which I think is completely valid. One thing that has helped me expand my products is drop shipping. So drop shipping is I don't have to have a physical stock of something, and instead when someone orders it, a company makes it to order, like as it's ordered, and then they ship it out. So that's how I was able to add a lot of clothing options into my shop. I use Printful, which Printful and Printify can connect directly to an Etsy or a Squarespace or a Shopify, so that when someone places an order on your website, they are pinged, like they get the order themselves, and like they take care of it, send it out, and notify you when it's sent out, and they even send the people a tracking number and all of that. Like you don't have to do anything. And in my research, I just was watching YouTube videos of people comparing Printful and Printify, and Printful seemed to be the better option, so I went with that. Now I offer just like a couple phone cases and just like a couple hoodies. I don't have as many t-shirts and hoodie options as I used to, because I realized that having all the options isn't necessarily what you need to do. Like people didn't really like care about them, so it was like, why do I have my shop full of all these things just because I can have them when there wasn't necessarily a demand for them? But those things you can connect to your current store. But there's also websites that I found like Teespring and Bonfire, which let you host a store on their platform, and you can either have things on there like long term, or have a campaign where, like, say you have it open for a month, and then people get to order, and then after the month the orders close, and all those orders are made at once and sent out, as opposed to them like making it as they go. And I've seen a lot of people that I watch on YouTube collaborate with Bonfire to do campaigns even when they have their own shops. So I would think that that's a pretty good quality site, and I was even considering that before starting my Squarespace, just to like have clothes. But Squarespace lets you really put it all in one place. This is not sponsored, but they sponsor a lot of studio vlogs, and I would love that. Another thing that has changed in my practice is I found a local printer. So this doesn't really help you if you're not in San Diego, but if you're in San Diego, Pip Printing. I did my business cards through them, and if I need prints now, I didn't want to buy more 8x11 photo paper when I ran out, so I just get them done by them. I'll just send over it via email, or I'll bring a hard drive and they just print it out. I pay, and it's really affordable. It's super easy. It can be time consuming if you're doing like for one print at a time as opposed to just like bulk buying, but I also don't have the demand to bulk buy anything, so like especially prints. So, but I still do my own 4x6s because I haven't run out of that photo paper. But I encourage you to see if you can find like a local printer of your own, because they, like the person at Pip knows me now, so like I feel like, not that he gives me deals, but like it's just like you have a like a relationship, like a back and forth, and they know you're going to keep coming back, and it's better than just a website who sees you as like a whatever, you're someone ordering from our website. And it can be really helpful to see proofs and stuff. Like I got to see a proof of my business card before actually getting like 100 of them, so that was really nice. Another thing is just being consistent, I guess. I at one point was super bored, and I went through my Instagram followers and basically purged everything that I could see was like a bot or in an active account, because I've had my account for so many years that they just accumulated, and I brought myself down from like 1,500 to like 400 something followers. Like I was bored, but it was down to like people who were like actually real people, active people following me, and I liked it a lot better that way. And that was in like April of 2020, and now I'm back up to 1,200 followers, and that's all just like natural growth from me just posting my art and starting to sell it. And TikTok hates me. I get like 3 or 4 views per TikTok, but Instagram Reels really does boost stuff because like they're trying to get people to use their feature, so I get some boosted help from Reels, not a lot, but there's good views if that means anything. I, at my friend's recommendation, just said fuck it and started a Patreon. I was saying how like, oh, I'm not big enough for that, blah blah blah. But she was like, just do it, because people want to support you, and a little support is still better than like nothing. And I was like, you're right. And here we are. I started my Patreon in like June or July, I don't remember, but I have 15 patrons now, and that's just 15 people who are choosing to go out of their way to support me a little extra. And that's like, I want to say that's the reason that my imposter syndrome has dimmed the fuck down. Like I'm like, there are people who see this as valid and like are here in a separate capacity, not just like follow me on Instagram. So that has meant a lot, and I recommend just starting a Patreon, because it might not be a lot of money, but it's people supporting you, and it's more money to put into your shop. That's another thing. For everything I make, I don't really pay myself. Like I think I price my things pretty fairly. I have to get my friends to yell at me to price my things sometimes, because I'm like, that's just a lot. But everything I get that's transferred out of my PayPal or from my Stripe goes directly into my savings, and then when I do buy inventory and things like that, I do pull from my savings, but I'm not like leaving that in my checking account to like blend with everything else. Like I'm just like, this is business money, and it's more about investing in myself and seeing how I can grow than like, ooh, this is giving me spending money. So I recommend that, just like saving and seeing how you can grow and invest in yourself. The iPad is a great investment. I've so far gotten 2 friends to get an iPad, greatest accomplishment. I really recommend an iPad. Digital art is just so expansive, and an iPad Pencil plus Procreate is like just like it's, I can go on a rant about how amazing it is, but I'm not going to. Like it's really like amazing for what it allows you to do, and I'm very happy that I have it. I'm very happy I have the privilege to have it, and I don't know what kind of art I'd be making without it. I would still do printmaking and stuff, but honestly, even having the iPad for printmaking is so helpful, because I can draw out what I want to do digitally and then transfer it to piece of tracing paper. Like the iPad is a light box, so it's like just so much easier even to transfer the images over to a block for carving and like to ideate the images in the first place. So I just think if you want to get started selling stickers, prints, all of that, if you don't have a nice like photo scanner for like other things, like just an iPad, because you eliminate the in-between between having to scan something and all of that. Another thing is, don't get too caught up in social media and comparisons. I keep looking at other people's growth, and the fact that they'll have a shop drop and sell out in like an hour or two. I'm like, wow, I've had my stock for a month. But like, you can't get caught up in that, because the fact that I have had the amount of orders I've had is still crazy. Like that's still unbelievable. So the fact that I'm not at the level of someone with like 20K followers selling out in an hour, like I'll get there or whatever, and maybe I don't, but like I am proud of where I am, and I sometimes have to remind myself that when I do get caught up in like a comparison trap where I'm like, oh, that person launched a Patreon and within 3 hours they already had like 50 patrons, like that's crazy. But I'm like, hey, I have 15, like a whole 15 people, and that's a lot. So you just can't let yourself get caught up in that. And social media is just, it's so easy to compare, and so many people are doing so many things, but you just got to do your own thing and do it because you want to do it. That's the thing I think that was so cool about starting to sell my art, is when I was just posting the art I was making on Instagram and people were DMing me about buying prints. I was making that for me. I enjoyed making it, and I wasn't making it thinking like, ooh, what are people going to want to buy? What are people going to blah, blah, blah. And I think after I started selling, that was where my mindset started to kind of go, which was like, ooh, okay, so I'm going to design a sticker. What do I want to design for this sticker? And the more I thought about it as a specific product, the more my brain was just like mush. But I would just draw things and make things, and then I would look at it and be like, hey, that'd be cool as a sticker. Or like, hey, I want to carve that into a block. So the more you just make things to make things and then turn them into art, that is better in my opinion. It helps the creative juices. I guess my last tip would be convert what space you have and be just useful and resourceful. I have so many things that we've just collected over the years, from just like collecting weird stuff to craft with. Like, we're a very artistic family. We just have things to craft and they sit in a cabinet. And I was using like string and just all sorts of things that we have, and it was being resourceful. And my sister moved to London, and so her bedroom is just sitting there, and while her bed and all of her furniture is still in there, her dresser drawers are now full of like my packing supplies, and I use her desk for packing orders. And I had another desk that I moved in there strictly for printmaking purposes because I needed a surface that I could just like print on. But I've since moved that desk in my bedroom, which is too small for it. But my back from going like this in online school and like other things, it was ridiculous. I needed a desk with a chair. And the reason I couldn't go in her room and just use the desk that I talk about using for packing orders is my room, as you can see, has all this natural, beautiful light, and her room doesn't have the same amount of windows and is darker, and I need light. Yeah, I just need light. So I guess at the end of this, what I'm assuming is a long video, the point is just get started with where you are and learn and grow from there. You will make mistakes, you will waste things, but just do it. Like, just do it. And that's kind of how I'm at now. Now that I've been learning with selling my art, that's where I'm at now with like this whole YouTube thing. Like, not that I want to like start being a vlogger or anything, no shade, but I just think it's so foreign to me to like film my whole life like that. But I do want to start making cool videos, like not vlogs, but just like cool videos. And I took a video for journalism class. When did I take that? Oh yeah, when everything was going to shit and everything was locked down, yeah. I took like a video for journalism class because I'm a journalism major, and she was teaching like about B-roll, about white balance, all this stuff, and I feel like I made a cool video for that class, but it's unlisted because it wasn't meant for the public. But like, I was just looking back at that video, which was an interview, and like the B-roll I had shot of the person's apartment as like they were talking and all that. Like, I really enjoyed the cinematic video, I don't know the word, but like the elements to it. So I want to make just like cool, pleasing to watch videos for myself again. Everything I do is for myself, and if people like it, they like it. And that's why I like posting things, is because when other people do things for themselves and then I like it, I'm like, hey. So yeah, but long story short, just do it because you want to do it, and you can really start in a very low maintenance way. I'll try to list everything I mentioned in the description, like the websites and stuff and the people, but I just hope you all do it. If you have art you want to sell, like literally just do it. I guarantee you there's interest, even if it's just your 3 closest friends. Like, there is interest. You are talented, so just get started doing it. And there's so many resources out there. Yes, one of those resources for me at least, might be Amazon, but hopefully I'll get to a point where having the cheapest overhead is not like a concern anymore. But we're not there yet, and that's okay. But I also haven't had to order these things for a long time, but that's enough of the rationalization. If you watch this far, thank you. And
you can check me out at faceitym.com.